guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we're building a museum in Brindleton Bay, and this is actually a limited pack build, so you only need base game and the cats and dogs pack to use this build. So that's fun because it's been a little while since I did a limited pack build, I think. I find them a little bit stressful sometimes, and so I don't do them very often. But yeah, this one came pretty easily, which I really like the build items that we got with the cats and dogs pack. So maybe that was why it was a little bit easier, because I do really like this pack. But this is on the lot that had the museum originally in Brindleton Bay. So this was originally a museum. And when you guys see the shell, you'll see that I have a bunch of different accents for the outside of this build. So I have some white accents, and then I have two different wood tones, of course, because one of them is from the base game and then one of them is from the cats and dogs pack, and they don't match. But I do have a few things going on the exterior, and at first I didn't really like it, but then after I had finished this build, I went back for some reason, I don't remember why, but I was looking at the original museum and it had this information, and I may have this wrong, so if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I think I just saw it earlier today, so hopefully I'll get it right. But it was like this house, this museum, was originally the house of the person who was the lightkeeper, I guess, for the lighthouse on this island, and they renovated it into a museum. So that was the description for the original museum, and I thought that was kind of nice, and I feel like that would go along with this building as well, because it kind of looks like maybe a renovated house. And if that's the case, then the different colors would make sense, because you have to replace stuff at different times, and you would be upgrading stuff maybe at different times as well. And so maybe that explains why the colors are a little bit all over the place. But anyway, I'll go on and show you guys the picture that inspired this build that I was kind of trying to recreate. As usual, I saw it on Pinterest, but I saw this little house. I think it's one of those little decorative houses that you can buy. I don't really know what they are, or really, I guess it's just decoration that people like to maybe build little villages for decoration with them. I'm not really sure, but anyway, I saw this little house and I thought it would be perfect for this lot in particular because of the lighthouse, and so I really wanted to build it here. So I had built a residential house here just a little while ago, and I went on and changed it back to a museum. So this is our little Brindleton Bay museum. I hope you guys enjoy it. But I was actually building this while I was watching the live stream for the infant update and for the Growing Together pack, and I didn't actually get to finish the live stream. I watched all of the base game part, and then I watched the first part of the Growing Together pack, but I did actually miss the most important part for me as a builder, because I had to turn it off before they got to the build by overview, and so I couldn't hang around for that. I felt like it was kind of a long live stream. I don't know if they're all that long. I don't think I've actually watched one all the way through before, so I don't know if they're usually that long, or maybe they just had a lot of information. But yeah, I missed the build part of the overview, so I'll just have to be surprised, I guess, when the pack comes out. But let me know what you guys think. I feel like the infant update looked really interesting. I think I've said this before, the infants aren't something that's super important to me. I mean, it just never has bothered me, but I really am happy for everyone who has wanted that to be updated and to be a little bit different. So hopefully everything will go smoothly with the update and it'll be what people wanted it to be. But I didn't notice if we were getting a changing table. So if you guys know, let me know in the comments, because I'm just now thinking about it, that when I saw them do the build by overview for the base game update, I don't remember seeing a changing table. But I may have just missed it, because I actually had a really bad headache that day, and that's partially why I had to turn it off, because I could not hang in there anymore. It was just getting to be too much. And then I actually just looked it up because I had forgotten about it, and as I was getting ready to finish this video and do this voiceover, I looked it up that the new venue that we're going to be getting with Growing Together is a rec center, which is interesting and sounds fun. So hopefully that will be a fun new addition. I had kind of wanted it to be a retirement home maybe. I kind of had that in my mind when the trailer came out, that we were going to get some kind of retirement home maybe, or nursing home. And so I thought that would have been a little bit more interesting, maybe for the storyline for Elder Sims. But a rec center is cool too. At least you can have a bunch of different stuff maybe going on. And I really am excited about the puzzle table. I know that's a weird thing to be excited about, but I think that looks really cool. And I would definitely use it a lot more than just in a rec center, because I think it looks like a lot of fun. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything that I saw on the live stream. I saw a lot of them talking about the likes and the dislikes and family relationships and stuff, but I think at that point I had already kind of gotten tired and my headache had already gotten pretty bad, and so I don't even really remember a lot of that stuff, to be honest. But it was really interesting and I am excited for it, so hopefully it'll be good. And let me know what you guys feel about it. Let me know what your thoughts are. It's not much longer. I think we're getting pretty close, so we don't have much longer to wait for either one of them. But yeah, that's what I was working on when I was building this. And I was actually also trying to figure out when I was building this when the last time I built a museum was in The Sims. And I want to think that the last time I built a museum, it was actually one of the first builds that I ever shared on here. It's actually not even on my channel anymore because it was not very pretty and it wasn't very interesting either. And so it's not on there anymore, but I want to think that's the last time I built a museum, which was a while ago. But then I also had this build that I did that was kind of a cube build. It was a modern house, or it wasn't a house, but I can't remember if I built a museum or if I built an art gallery with that build. And I should just go check, but I don't really want to go find it, so I'm not sure. But either way, it's been a little while since I built a museum. And the only museum that I think I've ever been to, as far as an official museum, was a museum of art. So it wasn't an art gallery, but it was kind of like that. It was mainly art, and it wasn't a lot of like historical stuff. And so this museum is kind of like, I guess, just a mixture of whatever I could find to go in here. So it's got paintings and artwork, and it's got some of the sculptures and stuff that came with the Cats and Dogs pack as well. But this museum that I had went to, and this was a while ago, but it had a lot of artwork, like hanging artwork on the walls, but it also had a couple exhibits of just different kind of artwork, I guess, that people have worked on. And I don't know how to describe it, but there was a couple different ones. And one of them I will have to tell you guys about because it was such a weird experience. But first, I'll tell you guys that for some reason, we were the only people there. I don't know if we just got there really early because, I'm sure other people came later on, but it was not busy at all when we were there, and we were the only people there walking around. And so there was a security guard there for the artwork, I guess, and so he kind of just followed us throughout the museum, and there was all these different rooms with different exhibits, and it was a pretty big place. But because there really wasn't anyone else visiting, he just kind of stayed with us, and he was really nice, and it was totally fine, but it was just kind of an awkward experience being the only ones in there. And then one of the exhibits was so strange. And I'll go on and say, before I tell you guys this, I will say that I know that art is very subjective and everyone has things that they like and appreciate and all of that. So I'm not trying to be mean, but one of the exhibits was kind of like chunks of wood, and it wasn't driftwood or anything like that. I don't know how to describe it, but it wasn't carved. It wasn't made into shapes or anything like that. It just was these chunks of wood, and they were different sizes, but it just looked like maybe you had cut a tree down and just grabbed, different parts of it and laid it up on a table. And so it was a weird exhibit, but like I said, I know that some people enjoyed it. I'm sure that some people did because it was in the museum, and maybe we just didn't understand it because I don't think there was any information about it. There wasn't anything that kind of explained it or had any more information about it or the artist or anything like that. So maybe we just missed something, but it seemed like it was just chunks of wood laid up on the table. And so it was a kind of a weird exhibit. And then I can't remember what the other exhibit was, but it was also a little bit strange. The one that wasn't like pictures. They had pictures as well. So it was an interesting day and it was fun. But I have never wanted to go back. I will say that. And I don't think anyone that was with me has ever expressed interest in going back. So maybe we're just not museum people, but it was definitely interesting. It was an experience. And that other exhibit, I can't remember, but it was something to do with animals. but they had the most realistic eyes. The artist had put these glass eyes, I guess, in there, and they just looked so real to me. I did find that one really interesting, but I don't know if everybody that was with me did find that interesting. So yeah, I guess we're just not museum people, but it was a weird day. And then, like I said, the security guard just kind of walked through it with us, and he was really friendly, and it was no big deal, but it was still kind of awkward because I don't think normally you would get that experience. You know, normally it would probably be maybe more than just one security guard or whatever you would. I don't even know. I think that's what you would call that, right? I'm trying to think now of Not at the Museum, and I have not watched that movie but one time, so now I'm not sure, but I feel like you would call it a security guard. But anyway, it was a weird experience. So that's the only museum that I've ever been to, but I hope you guys have enjoyed this build. We're pretty much done with it. The first floor has most of the actual museum-y stuff, and then the second floor I kind of made into a little bit of a study space with desks and bookcases and computers and stuff like that. And then the third floor had a bathroom, and the fourth floor I made into an art studio, kind of. It's a really simple room, but I added some easels and some inspiring decorations, and that's pretty much it for this museum. So thanks so much for watching and hanging out with me today during the speed build. I hope you're all doing well, and hopefully I will talk to you guys soon with another speed build.